Hello people, today is my first video and today I am going to be showing you guys a game called Flyout. If you're an aviation fan like me, this game is a must-have. If you've played Simple Planes or Kerbal Space Program, it is very similar to that, but in my opinion has a much more refined design system. You can go from making small personal jets to the wildest fighters you could ever imagine. And I'm going to show you how today. All right, so getting into it, you start with, the fuselage editor. That is by far the best part of this game. Honestly, you can scale it, you can move it, you can even do this cross-section editor, which allows you to just change the physical shape of the fuselage with ease. So this, in the game at least, allows you to make very complex shapes very easily, which is obviously very good for designing the aircraft, and that's something you don't really get out of Simple Planes or KSP. So, starting with making the nose, another good part of it is this material assigner. You can take little snippets of the fuselage and assign like nothing or glass or whatever you'd like. So that's pretty nice. We're just going to be making a pretty small single turbine, single seater jet aircraft here. I don't know. It's kind of like a trainer. I guess it's one seater though, so not really. You get my point. Gonna be making the back around here, so that way we have, that's gonna be our turbine exhaust, so you're gonna want that to be around. You can do it whatever you'd like though. I take a little break here. I'm just recording this as I go. I have to go do something, but it's just a brief little time lapse. I'm just ad-libbing this too. Next part is, I believe, the cockpit construction. This part's really easy. Just, it's similar to something you do in Simple Planes. You scale it down, you modify positions, you whatever you need to make a realistic looking cockpit and just call it a day. Something that's really nice about this though is all those individual points on that cross section editor you can move back and forth. And that allows you to make the cockpit and fuselage meet up perfectly in literally every area. So it's very nice. You can also use it for making like good intakes. You can really use it for anything. It's excellent feature. I'm using it right now, as a matter of fact. Definitely one of my favorite parts of this game, and definitely makes it a lot easier to design your aircraft. This game is not available for purchase per se. This is actually a pre-release variant. What you're going to need to do if you want to play it is you're going to have to go to the developer's Discord server. I'll probably leave a link in this video. And you're going to need to give him $20 over donation and ask for a key. And that if he is accepting them at least, that'll allow you to play the game. But for now, it's still pretty clunky game. It's early access, you can't expect the world out of it. But for what it is so far, it is excellent. Now, the thought put into the development of this game is incredible. I decided here to rear end the fuselage because I'm actually moving the flat part up a bit, because that's actually where I'm going to mount the wings, and having a decently flat mounting area is always a plus, so that's nothing to complain about. And then the wing editor is another very good part of this game. You can modify every part of the wing, add spacers, add more points of reference, do whatever you want, move them. You can modify thickness. I'll be doing that later. You can add leading and trailing edges, so it's not just like cardboard wings, and you don't need to like use fuselage pieces to make them look good. Then you can also use those trailing and leading edges as like flaps or whatever, whatever your heart desires. It's pretty nice actually. And here I'm just setting up the space for the rear wings, or the stabilators. So, and here we can actually use like joints to make them have a full range of motion too. I'm going to set them up for pitch and roll and AOA and stuff. So it's very nice to have that. Wing editor once again, just flattening it out, doing all that. And again, this is, I believe, where I use the thickness modifier. Maybe it's a little bit later on. Add the leading and trailing edges. And it's very nice because it makes it so you can have like a very thick main wing and a very thin tail that relies on AOA for lift capabilities more, and it all does aerodynamically it's aerodynamically included in the game. So it's very nice. My favorite part though is, yeah, this part here, turbine modification. You can add low pressure stages, high pressure compressor stages, turbofans, compression ratios, afterburners, literally, aviation fans like best dream here. It's got a very, comprehensive and realistic turbine editor, which is something I've never really seen before in any game ever. So, obviously I'm pretty excited about that. Um I'm just adding hard points, quote unquote, but the real purpose is just to add like mounting brackets for the turbine. Just for aesthetics really. It's not functional, but it makes it look like the turbine's actually mounted properly. So that's always a plus. Next is what am I doing next here? Just oh yeah, modifying the engine, looking at the exhausts, the fan, making sure my pressure ratios are correct. You can have compressor stalls and stuff if you make it wrong. Got to make the vertical stabilizer now. Take another break. Yeah, again, I just recorded this and just went with a full video. Here you have leading trailing edges again, adding a little like strake at the beginning there. Moving the main wings. All of this is super easy. It's a little bit clunky to learn, but honestly, it's way easier to modify than a game like Simple Planes or KSP has a very easy system, but it's a lot more detailed than KSP systems, but also a lot easier than Simple Planes in my personal opinion. Landing gear are also super customizable in this game. You can do symmetry, diameters, angles of landing gear, how they retract, all that junk is included. There's no like doors or anything for the landing gear yet, so they kind of just merge into the fuselage. But I'm sure you could make one if you wanted to, at least at some point in this game, especially when more joints and such get added. Painting in this game is also another super fun feature. Making camos is super easy because of the decal editor. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do here, but like making like camouflage and basic skins for your aircraft is insanely easy with this game. So, there you go. Something I'm remembering about this aircraft is I actually forgot to add intakes to it. Um, Luckily that doesn't matter that much. But it is something else you can do in this game, and it's something I've done plenty of times in the past, and I'm kind of ashamed that I just forgot to do it. There's also like static wicks, nav lights, solar panels, batteries, although I'm not sure what use they have at the moment. All right, we're starting to finish up here. I believe at least everything is done. So you go for a test flight. You always go for test flights. I ended up screwing up a lot of the control surfaces because sometimes you're not sure what direction they're supposed to be going until you can actually test it out. That's completely okay. You just got to go back, retry a few times. You'll get it eventually. Here, setting up yaw, roll, AOA, slips response. And then eventually, I think when final test reveals, I also need steering angle on the front landing gear. And then after that, I am ready. All right, we're spawning in now, starting up the engine, getting rolling. Not the fastest acceleration in the world, but for what it is, it's actually pretty decent, It is, not the biggest engine. It's actually quite fuel efficient. Efficiency is built in mind. You can see full throttle at sea level there. It's an hour, 30 minutes, which is very nice for a tiny little turbine aircraft like this. And I'm sure it can go pretty fast, probably Mach 0.8. I don't believe I ever tested it in this video, though. Again, it's more built for low speed acceleration and efficiency. It's more of just a big old turbofan engine, like something you'd find in an airliner, except obviously smaller. We'll take a little look here, actually, for that matter. All engine stats seem to be working pretty well. Might need to turn the compression ratio down just a little bit, but otherwise I think it is totally fine. Also, I'm still learning that feature and exactly how it works a little bit, so don't take my word for it. Giving it a little turn here. It's not the most maneuverable aircraft in the world. It's not bad though. Like for what it is, it's actually pretty decent, especially considering we're running full tank of fuel at like 200 knots here. Um, and it's also very stable. There's no glaring AOA issues. There's no, side slips. There's no accidental cobras, or it's not like tail heavy or anything like that. So that's pretty nice. It works as intended. And that concludes building an aircraft. Alright, everyone, that concludes the video for today. Again, as I had mentioned earlier, this is in fact my first video. Any likes, comments, suggestions, subscriptions, any of that is highly appreciated. I do plan on making more content in the future, and for that, I want to ask anybody who watches this, what should I do? I could do more of this. I could build things that you guys suggest. I could, play. I've got all sorts of games, War Thunder Tarkov. Those are two big ones I've been playing recently. Obviously this one, KSP, Simple Planes, anything. You know, whatever you want to see, make sure to leave a comment and tell me about it. Thank you very much. And I hope you all have an awesome day.